to look carefully for them. Such an architectural gem is what I discovered just off of Riverside Park and 74th Street in Manhattan. Hi, Professor Hart here. So I took a walk east on 74th Street and I discovered these classical Roman, Greco-Roman row houses. And I'm panning the camera to the right and I got to this point where real ugly. This was a major disaster for that block, that gray cement block that you just saw. But we're going to walk west again on 74th Street, and we discovered the gem at the end of the street. Now, to give you a sense of place, we're going to walk east on 74th Street, and we come to this really excellent example of Greek Revival architecture. We're going to pan up slowly. Sorry about that wind noise, but the wind was about 40 miles an hour that day. We're panning up slowly. The sun hit us just in a spotlight so we can see some of these excellent architectural details. And here is a full facade view of this really excellent example as our introduction to Greek Revival architecture. Now on the first level we see a curved portico, 4 Doric pillars supporting it. Panning slowly up the facade, we see that the portico, tetrastyle, there are 4 pillars. We see two curved bays, curved bay windows, and we're going to get more detail of that later. There's another angle of the portico. We passed that rather quickly, but I want to spend time on the 4th level or story. We have 6 magnificent Ionic columns in contrast with the Doric columns on the portico. Moving further up, we have this really elaborate entablature, we call it, architrave, frieze, and a cornice. And here at another angle, a really richly detailed cornice, frieze, entablature, and to top it off, palmettes. And even more detail, we have egg and dart, we have volutes, brackets as volutes, we have lion heads. Here's a close-up of the palmettes used on classical Greek temples. Panning sort of zigzaggy down now, we see some Roman windows, shouldered windows with that extra dip on the sides. Here is a close-up of the keystone with a garlanded carving and a frieze, a very elaborate frieze border. Now we're moving again to our level with the 6 Ionic columns, beautifully fluted. We're going to move again down the facade of the building, showing the Roman windows. So we call this a Greco-Roman building, actually. Notice under the portico of the columns, we have these dentils that are also repeated in the cornice. This reminds us of Bramante's Tempietto temple in Rome. We're going to take a quick tour now of our columns, our Doric columns. They're fluted, they're rusticated slightly. We're going to move across the architrave. That's an abacus between the egg and dart capital and the architrave. Moving up again, a review. There is no pedestal in a Doric base. Here again, the fluted columns, egg and dart capital. We're going to take another tour quickly of our facade of this excellent Greek Revival building. Greek Revival was very popular in the early 18th century. The architect was C.P.H. Gilbert. These row houses were built approximately around 1896. We're going to kind of reverse ourselves and go backwards, as you can see. And just a quick reminder of some of our salient features in our building, which Vitruvius, the Roman writer, classical Roman architectural writer, would say gives us delight. The Doric pillars, the